Hello folks, and welcome to the Unit 8 Tech Innovation AO1, and we're looking at the effects of ICT on society today, and the role that technology plays in different areas of today's world. And one of the key bits here is the different styles of technology, and the fact that technology is all around us, whether we're in the home, whether we are at school or just out and about. And this slide here shows a couple of examples of how tech is used in everyday lives. We've got the Xbox controllers here, we've got tablet PCs, and the fact that Costa Coffee has Wi-Fi, and also it has NFC as well, near field communication, where you can just scan your phone against the counter and it will automatically pay for it using your phone credit card wallet. It's a new Google Wallet system. It will be around. Everyone will have one in the future, I believe. We're also going to look at how much technology exists within the world, and there's things like social media, the fact that we're using it for TVs now and also in education, and bank machines, and there's phones as well. So this AO looks at the effects of ICT in society, how people use the technology, and how popular that tech is, and we're going to cite the benefits and the drawbacks of each category that we choose. We're going to use quotes from the industry and consumers to support our work, so the research that you choose is incredibly important. So starting with a quote then, and as we're looking at tech innovation, this is Moore's law, and I've got the simplified version of the law here, which is that processor speeds or overall processing power for computers will double every 2 years. The more complicated law talks about the number of transistors, but as you can see, there's been a massive jump from 1970 all the way to 2010. We'll go from kilohertz here all the way up to gigahertz, megahertz in between that. So the speed of the processor in hertz meaning 1 cycle per second. So 1 cycle. There you go. Why do we need cycles per second? Have a think why we'd need more. And then let's take a look at one area of the industry and see where that sort of thing is important. If we look here at gaming through history, back in the 1980s, we've got Pac-Man going all the way across and eating his little dots there and turning it onto the ghosts and stuff. And then finally we've got Mario in 1985, 1992 Sonic the Hedgehog, and you can see the game style, the graphics have got a lot better from here, which is just one single screen that doesn't scroll, to this one, the side-scrolling platform gamers, to this one which has got a bit more colour in here now. It's got a background in there as well with moving artefacts across the page. This spins round in that ring bit here, and you've got enemies that jump up and down as well, off and on the screen, so it's getting a bit more complicated. Moving exactly the same year, we've got virtual racing in 1992, which is one of the first games, not the first, but one of the first games to use polygon graphics. Back in 1988, Namco used it in Winning Run, and a couple of other games did. But this was seen as a test bench of new style gaming, where you've got these 3D graphics that you're so used to today. That didn't exist before 1992 in a mainstream way, and a massive jump between 1992 to about 1996, where the games became a lot more realistic in the way that they were done. Jumping ahead much further, Call of Duty Modern Warfare there in 2009, and in 2013, soon to be released, the Grand Theft Auto 5, which the trailers on the internet look absolutely fantastic. And in fact, if we're looking at it, one of the current works there, the trailer is for Grand Theft Auto 5 now on the internet. You can check it on YouTube. I wonder whether it will go in HD when I view it here. Let's have a look.
Why did I move here?
There you go. HD. Graphics, absolutely stunning. Really lifelike.
That magic. You see it in the movies. I wanted to retire from what I was doing, That.
Hey, you can watch the rest of that, I guess, on YouTube if you wanted to. Some bits of violence in there, obviously. Take it with a pinch of salt. One of the key messages that they're trying to make, though, for this is the fact that the game has to be absolutely and utterly immersive. It has to be really playable to the point where you believe that you're in society. And there's the key word there, immersion, taken from the Wikipedia definition there of what immersion means, immersive, and in virtual reality. And the idea that these games have to be a lot more complicated, but also they really have to draw you in, and that's what they've tried to do. Now, Sonic the Hedgehog back in 1992, Sonic 2, did the same sort of thing, but definitely you didn't feel that you were the hedgehog when you were playing that game. You were just the controller, you were controlling the guy, and he was jumping up and down, grabbing things from ring boxes. That sort of game doesn't exist in mainstream anymore, or it's not as prevalent. You don't get the Marios and the Sonics. You do get things like Zelda, where you've got a real person, a controller that you're looking for. Right, back there. let's move on. We've got authenticity as well. One of the other bits that you've got to really make sure that the games are now is very authentic, and people are looking to create much more close to reality games. And video games do strive to be more and more authentic in their approach. The physics engines of games take a lot longer to plan, maybe the same amount of time as the whole game itself, and the development process of those is key and crucial to a game working. The experience of the user running out of bullets, tackling a player, or swimming in the ocean is now expected to be both immersive and authentic in its detail. And of course, the counter argument to that is whether the authenticity is hindered by the advertising in some games. So some of the weapons of or items in the game, they're changed in exchange for donations to the work of the game or in-game advertising. But I suppose how different is that to TV shows or any other medium that we currently view? So authenticity and immersion, absolutely important in the game. There are other slants that you could look at. I mean, there's the absolute rise of multiplayer RPG games, online ones, and the infinite idea of the world. The fact that, games like Minecraft are absolutely huge, but there are games even bigger than that where you can hold down the forward key with no collision for something like 3 weeks and you could get to the edge of some world, if you so want to. There's also things like the death of the arcade. Now, people used to go together and play games in arcades. That doesn't happen anymore. You've got them within your house. You've got the Wii controllers where you can have 4-on-1, or you can play multiplayer online. You can play 20 people on a pitch in FIFA. And finally, you could look at the way that the consoles have changed in terms of the controller. And you've got a couple of controllers here. You've got the really old joystick style to the joypads and the gamepads of the PlayStation, all the way to the Wii controller, all the way to the Xbox Kinect. And I guess that'll be the future of gaming, will be game controller or yourself. And the Wii is a really good example of that. There's so many add-ons to the Wii that you can use now as controllers. And I imagine this sort of gaming structure where to get you to feel a bit more, immersed into the game, and to make the game a bit more authentic, these sort of controllers are going to be absolutely crucial in making sure that the user sticks to a game and also enjoys it. The way that you have to collect your evidence for this unit is to give a brief description of what the category is. You then have to talk about how the technology is used in this, and also what the benefits and drawbacks of this categories are. So I picked games there as an idea. There's so much stuff that I could talk about. I could go on for 15 minutes about how brilliant one game is rather than just the whole category. But what I want you to do is condense that into some really, really focused research. Look at ideas and quotes off the internet, get some research which supports your stuff, and based on that, collect the evidence. Off you go.